You know, some politicians throw stats, others throw shade. But this week, one minister threw out corporal punishments and Parliament nearly fell off its chair. My friends, in today's show, we're unpacking that bold statement from Correctional Services, a retail arms race for your dog's dinner, and while the box are picking players like Lego blocks, plus record car sales, inflation, surprises, and a new Proteas captain you didn't see coming. Let's get into it. And kicking us off with current affairs, Correctional Services Minister Peter Groenewald stood up in Parliament yesterday and asked if South Africa should bring back corporal punishment, as in beating people with sticks. Now, was this a serious policy proposal? Probably not. More like part frustration, part political grenade, a way to spark debate and spotlight the real chaos going inside the correctional services after these deep budget cuts. You see, Groenewald says that his department has been handed just 29 billion rand this year, but it's supposedly not nearly enough. Basic infrastructure upgrades have been frozen, food budgets are strained, and nearly 60,000 people are reportedly stuck in jail waiting for trial, many over petty crimes and bail under $1,000. So that, he suggested, is where corporal punishment could come in. For petty offenders who can't afford bail, maybe a physical punishment is better than years spent behind bars in an underfunded prison. Again though, he probably didn't mean it, but as you can expect, say something outrageous enough and suddenly your broken department is front page news. That's politics, baby. And on to our quick fire mentions. This cold front sweeping through South Africa is bringing snow to the Drakensberg, sleet in Gauteng, and flood warnings across the Cape. Again, the weather service says that conditions will worsen into the weekend before easing by Monday. Stay safe out there. And 6 of South Africa's busiest land borders are being overhauled under a new one-stop border post system meant to fast-track trade, boost security, and finally modernize infrastructure that's been stalling for decades. And onto our finance section. There's a new race heating up in South African retail, and it's not just for groceries, it's for pets. Mr D has just launched Pet Express, a pet-focused delivery service offering everything from vet-approved foods to toys and premium treats, all delivered within an hour. It's a tailored push into one of South Africa's fastest growing markets, pet care. Now, does this sound familiar? It should. You see, last week we covered how Checkers Sixty60 teamed up with Pet Shop Science to offer same-day delivery for over 3,500 pet products, part of ShopRite's broader plan to dominate not just groceries, but the entire household basket. You see, with reportedly more than 22 million pets in South Africa and annual spend growing fast, it is clear that retailers see the space as more than just a niche, it's the next frontier. In saying that though, this isn't just about pet care. It's about becoming the go-to app for whatever you need before you even think to need it. And next up, for the first time in 4 years, South Africa's inflation expectations have dropped below 4%. You see, that's according to the latest survey by the Bureau for Economic Research, which shows average forecast for 2025 now sitting at 3.9%. Comfortably within the Reserve Bank's target range of 3 to 6%. Now, some analysts say that this is a sign that inflation is finally under control, helped by slowing price growth and tighter monetary policy. Now, the Reserve Bank has hinted that this could open up the door to another interest rate cut, although the governor says that he wants our official inflation target lowered even further to match global peers. But now, in saying all of this, there's still a catch. You see, while inflation may be cooling, wage expectations are rising and growth forecasts are pretty much flatlining. So although the headline number may look good, underneath, the economy still isn't moving the way that it should. And on to our quick fire mentions. Sun International has pulled the plug on its 7.3 billion rand bid for Piermont and Empress Palace. The competition tribunal hearing was reportedly set too late to meet the deal's deadline, so both parties have backed out. Transnet is still in the red, and now it is asking the private sector to help. You see, government's fast-tracking plans to let outside investors fund emergency upgrades while it figures out the long-term rail recovery plan. And the States has rejected a bill to nationalize our Reserve Bank, saying it could tank investor confidence and trigger capital flight. Treasury called the whole thing unconstitutional, unaffordable, and a threat to the bank's independence. And on to our sports section. There's no Sia, no and no Malherbe, but the Boks are still rolling out a heavyweight 15 for Saturday's test against Italy. Jesse Creel will wear the captain's armband, leading a side that blends old combinations with some fresh dynamics. So it's a vote of confidence in Creel's decade of test experience and the Boks' depth. But what's more interesting is what this team hints at, which is a Springbok era built on versatility. You see, Creel can play 13 or wing, Lindy has packed down at flank before, and just last week we saw Andre Esterhuizen, a 116 kilo center, briefly operate at flank. So it seems that the Boks aren't just picking strong players anymore, they're picking chess pieces. It's a tactic that may frustrate fantasy teams, but it keeps the opposition coaches guessing. And this weekend won't reveal everything, but it does confirm one thing, that the Boks are done picking positions. They're now building a team of moving parts, and that is the game plan. And on to our quickfire mentions. Vian Mulder will captain the Proteas in their second test against Zimbabwe after Kishaf Maharaj was ruled out with a groin injury. This is their third stand-in skipper in 3 matches for the Proteas. And Djokovic battled through a stomach bug to win his Wimbledon opener at the age of 38 as he chases a record 25th Grand Slam title. But elsewhere though, the upsets came early. 3rd seed Alexander Zverev and 2nd seed Coco Gauff both crashed out in round 1. The show goes on. And before we continue, here is your Bagel Bite of the day. Which of these countries has exported the most amount of cars to South Africa in 2025 so far? Is it A, China, B, India, or C, Germany? We'll give you the answer at the end of the show. And on to our wildcard section. South Africans are buying new cars at the fastest pace in years, and it's not just the Hilux Buckies or the Polo Vivos. June saw over 47,000 new vehicles sold, up 18.7% from last year. That's 9 months of growth in a row, driven by interest rate cuts, cheaper imports from China and India, and a flood of aggressively priced models under 400 grand. So in the month of June, Toyota dominated again, with the Hilux, the Corolla Cross, and the Starlet topping the charts. But upstarts like Chery, Haval, and Suzuki are surging too. I mean, the Tiggo 4 Pro was the 3rd best-selling car in the country. In saying that though, it is still a tight squeeze for most buyers. You see, credit terms are getting longer and consumers are spending less per car. But with sales up nearly 14% for the year so far, one thing is clear. South Africans are watching their wallets, but they're still finding reasons to upgrade. And as for that Bagel Bite, the answer is India, now South Africa's top source of imported cars in 2025. You see, with thousands landing each month from compact Suzukis to entry-level Hyundais, the Indian auto wave is quietly reshaping our local car market. And my friends, that's it for today's show. On that note of cars, safe travels out there on the road today, whether you're behind the wheel, in a taxi, or waiting for the next train to arrive. I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Cheers.